Good morning, this is Dr. Lyon from the Network Wellness Center of Charlotte, and I'm thrilled to be talking about something this morning that I'm so passionate about. And this is women's health. Both Lynn and I, obviously my wife and manager of this office and very gifted psychotherapist, we're really passionate about supporting women in our practice for a couple of reasons. One, for most families, women tend to be the hub of the entire family wheel, and all the spokes tend to come out from there. So we strongly feel that as we support women in our community, we're doing our part to support the community at large, the wellness of the community at large, the growth and human potential of the community at large. And so we're very passionate about this. Some of the greatest inspirations in my life have been women, so it's a great honor to serve women and mothers. Here's the thing, is so many women are struggling with PMS, heavy cramping, infertility. Women are entering into menopause much earlier than they should, and their menopause symptoms are through the roof uncomfortable. It's a really important thing. Things like dysmenorrhea, any challenges related to the menstrual cycle itself, any challenges related to getting pregnant, any challenges related to the transition from having a menses to not having a menses. These are super important to really understand. And here's the thing, one of the most important things we need to understand about these is that it's not normal to have early menopause. It's not normal to have such intense menopausal symptoms that it throws your family life into chaos, that it throws your inner life into chaos, that it throws your entire life into one of challenge and stress. You know, we have treated menopause, we have treated menstrual type problems as if they're a disease to be cured rather than a functional problem to really be addressed. And so this is so important to understand. The other thing is infertility has just increased tremendously over the years, and this is also something that we're coming at it, attacking it as if it were disease. And so I want to back up a couple steps and just share a couple things. There are about 4 or 5 things that we tend to do as a culture which aren't really helping. One of them, for instance, which you'll see with a number of different disorders, is hormone replacement. Now this can either be synthetic hormone replacement or so-called bioidentical hormone replacement. Now, the jury's still out on this one, and there's lots of contradictory advice out there, but I'll tell you, there's a large body of evidence that supports the fact that hormone replacement, natural or otherwise, is not really safe long-term. And the reality of it is that we don't even know the real long-term benefits, as so much of this is so new. And although some of these things may decrease some of the symptoms on the front end, they're strongly correlated with an increase of certain types of cancer. Not a good thing. And the thing is it's kind of looking at I come from the Northeast, from Vermont originally, so we used to have a lot of rusty cars. When you're painting over a rusty car, the paint just chips. So it's not a really sustainable solution. The other thing people do is that they just live with it. They just think it's normal to have such horrendous cramping that they have to miss 2 days a week, or that they have to have such intense premenstrual syndrome type symptoms such as really intense depression, emotional upset, frustration, irritation, all of these things. And although there's a certain wonderful part about the emotional shifts before the period comes, which we'll talk about at another time. However, we think it's normal for that to be this thing that can actually really challenge your work life and your relationships lives. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not normal. Being healthy and being flexible and having a wonderful hormone system and a wonderful nervous system and wonderful reserves for adapting to stress, that should be normal, right? What's not normal is feeling so out of kilter that once a month we get hit. The other thing is irregular cycles. Again, that's not normal. The other thing we tend to do is coat most of these things with drugs. Now, we're going to talk about fertility in just a second, so we take ibuprofen to cope with the cramps. Completely trashes your digestive system, and it helps decrease inflammation, which really just tells you that you've got an inflammatory problem, not an ibuprofen deficiency. Many women are put on antidepressants when in fact they don't need antidepressants. They need to undo the damage that's been done through a lifetime of stress and trauma, and they need to learn new strategies to stop recreating some of the problem, not get on drugs that, again, we don't really know the long-term effects of, and that can really, obviously, intentionally change your neurochemistry. Not something you always want to do. Now, some people do need medication, and that's really a call between you and your physician. For the most part, though, we are an absolutely over-medicated society. Sadly, the people that need medication the most are the ones that don't get it. It's the ones that don't need it that are over-medicated, in my opinion. So we might code it with antidepressants, anti-anxiety drugs, sleep drugs like Ambien. All of these start to really play in when people either have intense PMS or they have problems, the problems associated with menopause. Now, when it comes to infertility, this can be a heartbreaking scenario to watch because so many couples desire so deeply in their hearts to have a child, and they simply can't. They've tried everything, and so what most people go down the route of doing is trying in vitro fertilization. Now, in vitro fertilization is a great idea in theory. However, understand that that's going to cost anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 per attempt. And of course, it's not covered by insurance. And what we've found, we have some wonderful, compelling research, some preliminary research, let me back up and say preliminary research and some anecdotal research regarding network chiropractic, the style that I practice, and in vitro fertilization. 2 case studies were published by my colleague Simon Senza in the Journal of Vertebral Subluxation Research, which I'm thrilled about. There was also a great article recently in Journal of Manipulative and Physiologic Therapeutics looking at the work with the spine and the nervous system through chiropractic to help with cramping, menstrual cramping. So some really exciting research coming out. But the thing that breaks my heart the most is that infertility, as are all of these things, and this is really the punchline, stress adds up over a lifetime. Stress comes in 3 forms: physical, mental, and chemical. Sadly, we live in a horribly polluted world. Nobody on this planet right now is devoid of mental and emotional stress, and all of us, to some degree or other, have had some physical stressors in life. Car accidents, falls, sports injuries, sitting at desks all day, etc. When we can undo the damage that's been done, which we can absolutely do with network chiropractic and network spinal analysis, and help people stop recreating problems in the future, help teach people to feed themselves correctly so now their body's getting the right nutrition. Now the nervous system, which controls everything, my friends, there's not a single thing that your nervous system doesn't control. Nothing. The hormonal system is under its control. All of your organs, every cell in your body is completely tied into this system. Once that comes into balance, once that wonderful inborn innate wisdom that's inside of you that is the true healer is able to express itself more fully, we experience less uncomfortable periods, or even a normalization of premenstrual syndrome and a normalization of cycles. We experience women who are able to get pregnant and stay pregnant. This is awesome. We're able to witness women who are able to stop taking sleep medication because they're sleeping better through menopause and their hot flashes are getting better. All of this is totally possible. Stay tuned because we're going to have some awesome video testimonials of practice members who are doing so well and want to share with you, the Charlotte community at large, how their lives have changed through this work. The thing is, don't give up. Don't give up. There is hope, and it's so much simpler than you thought. We had a woman here recently who came in and said, I have tried for years to deal with the fatigue, the insomnia, and the hot flashes that have come since I started menopause, and I never thought it could be so simple. We are literally teaching her nervous system through exceptionally gentle network chiropractic care how to heal itself, and she's doing remarkable. And this is what's so exciting to see, is that people who've gone down the road of becoming medical wreckage and trying so many things and beyond, so many medications, or spending an arm and a leg with IVF, or just having relationships that have been either damaged or ruined through these kind of problems, get their lives back. And then to watch their family members also start to heal with this work, it's amazing. And so Lynn and I feel incredibly blessed to be able to show up here every day to serve you, the Charlotte, North Carolina community, to serve all of our patients and practice members with an open heart and just absolute commitment to excellence, service, and education so that we can be at the leading edge of wellness for all of you. Again, the message of this is that there's hope. Don't give up. There are simple, evidence-based, proven solutions that are way simpler than you ever thought. And the best part is, if you're scared about chiropractic, understand that this is one of the few